Hey everyone, it's me, I to the T to the Z, coming at you again. I'm going to try to keep this video thing rolling and try to get my voice out there. I figure if a lot of other people can shoot Star Wars videos, why can't I? Mostly on the YouTube network now and mostly all over the world. Everybody's all into Black Series and pardon me, all the new stuff that's coming out, all the new celebration stuff that everybody's going rampage for and everybody's going all wild for it, and it's just shutting down internets and shutting down Hasbro Pulse because some of this stuff is next to impossible to get due to the fact that people overbuy it and people want to resell it, which makes it hard for collectors to get. And as of right now, Star Wars has a thing, Hasbro, where they have more exclusives than I actually think they have product. And with exclusives, you can't really find those in the store, so it makes it tough. But my review today is a review about the dark times when Star Wars hit its absolute bottom and nobody wanted to play or purchase any Star Wars items whatsoever. And they were the years of vintage Star Wars between 1984 and 1985. There was a certain set that was floating around there. It was in clearance bins all over the world. Whether if you were at Walmart, Woolworth, Service Merchandise, Kmart, Toys R Us's, anywhere that purchased Sears, anywhere that had Star Wars, had these in a clearance bin for 10 cents. Some places had them like $3, $4, believe it or not. And that was on the original cards. So if you were able to get the original cards and have them mint on a card today, you'd probably be sitting on a small fortune and probably be able to buy yourself a brand new car off the lot, or maybe even drop some money on a house, depending on where you're at. But ladies and gentlemen, today is one of the big reviews, live right in front of you, from 1984 to 85, the original Power of the Force Last 17. There they are, folks. As you can see, I do not need to do I researched this because I don't have it and have it pop up on the screen. My Star Wars collection, I have been collecting for over 40 years, folks. So I've had all this. I've even worked at Toys R Us back in my teen years, and later on we'll go on to have a really good life. But I have never stopped loving Star Wars for what it is. But my specialty is the vintage stuff, and I love everything different that people normally don't get into. I understand right now the Black Series is the big thing, but I think that it's going to be one of those things. It's going to be all clearanced out, and people are going to be pissed off because their investment is not going to hold up to what they put in it, unlike this. So let's get down to business. What I want to say first is, first of all, grab yourself if you want to get some knowledge on Star Wars collecting, there's about 3 or 4 different of these books, and they go into detail about what was out there and how to look for stuff. For instance, you can see Yak Face there, and I have one here. But grab the knowledge first and read up as to what you're buying. For that way you know what you're buying and you don't get conned into reproduction or anything like that, reproduction weapons or anything like that, and get duped over somebody saying that this is the last 17 figure and it ain't. So anyway, here we go. We're going to start off with Luke Skywalker Stormtrooper. He's in mint condition. He has his original helmet. The helmet goes on and off. It's a little loose on there, but the thing is, I don't like to put his helmet on because this figure is in very mint condition, and I do not want to mess it up. I have his original coin with him. He has his blasters, all original, and this figure is a lot of money, folks. It's hundreds of dollars in this condition. I happen to own one, but anyway, next on the last 17 list is, of course, Anakin Skywalker. As an old dude, he was also a mail away and all that, but they, for some reason, consider him part of the last 17 because he's one of the last 17 that were made. So, and plus he was also carded towards the end there. If you happen to have a carded Anakin Skywalker original Power of the Force with a coin, you're sitting on a lot of money. So anyway, folks, The next one is one of the most sought after figures from the last 17, because even though they say it's 17 were available, this figure was not available in the United States at all. It was available on a tri-logo card from other countries, and it also, I believe, you could correct me on this one and leave a comment in the bottom, came on a Power of the Force card with a coin, and if you have any of them on a card, you're sitting on a couple $1,000s. But in this condition, he is a lot of money as well. Here is Yak Face along with his battle staff. This is an original Yak Face. It is not a reproduction. You can see on the back of the legs there and everything else. And he is stiff, folks, like literally like fresh out the package. But that you have is Yak Face. And the next one was, pardon me, I'm coming a little under the weather. Han Solo with his carbonite block. And he, too, has his carbonite coin that goes along with them. He's part of the last 17, folks. I had to leave them with their little garment things underneath. That way I know which package they go into when I put these guys all away. The next one is EV9D9. And this figure, his jaw opens and closes. I don't want to do too much because these figures are known to break in the arms, in the leg area. You'll always see them either missing an arm or something like that. This figure is mint condition. And he too has his coin. And to find him in this condition is next to impossible, folks. And he has his coin. The next one is Lando General. Lando Calrissian with his pimp cape. And he has his coin also. And the thing is with these blasters, to track down some of these original blasters that go to these guys, if you didn't pull them off a card or whatever, like a lot of these came from me, they were like 50 cents in a bin or whatever when I was working at Toys R Us. Nowadays you could get shafted on a lot of the weapons because the repros even tend to float nowadays. So, but you gotta, like I said, you gotta do your homework, you gotta do your research to make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. The next one is the A-Wing pilot, and as you could tell, his blaster is really small and dinky. And he also has his coin, and he's in very mint condition. Barely moves. So what I mean by mint condition is these guys, you hold them and the arms are really stiff and legs are joints and everything are stiff. The next one is the Imperial Gunner, and he too has a pistol that is so small that in the blink of an eye you could lose that thing, and I have him with this coin as well to make sure that these are 100% complete. The next one is our all favorite Jabba the Hutt's guy, Barada. A lot of people tend to love this figure because he has a pirate attitude and he kind of looks like a pirate. He has his coin and everything else. He has his original battle staff with him. He brings a longer staff. And right now, a lot of people, I'm sure, are going to be after that one because of the huge Jabba sail barge that just came out from Pulse. So people are going to be looking for stuff like that to throw on there to keep it real, more or less say. The other one we have is the Imperial Dignitary. As you can tell, he's in very, very mint condition. And he also has his coin right there. And the next one is Luke Skywalker. And this is the Luke Skywalker indoor Luke. He has his blaster. As you can tell, I put it in his belt right there, due to the fact that if I lose his blaster, it is so expensive to replace. And you don't even know what you're even getting nowadays. So I have his coin as well there. But here's the thing, folks. This figure got a lot of bad reviews due to the fact that his helmet does not come off. Now, if they had Luke where his helmet came off, this figure would have been amazing. It would have definitely been amazing. It would have been up there. For some reason, they always screw up the Luke figures. It would have been up there with the Luke Skywalker Stormtrooper, which they forgot to put a Han Solo with removable helmet and Stormtrooper disguise. It would have been perfect with Luke Skywalker. And I understand that there's some guys out there that make them, and I will be sure when I put my huge display out one day for how I could just film it for everybody, I will be sure to make sure I purchase one of those, even though I do not do repro or do not do anything. But when you got a fan-made item that is something that is a necessity, such as the Tarkin that's coming out on the retro line, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be posing him with the vintage figures in their set because they weren't available, and they're two of the sought-after figures that everybody wanted to pose with all their set. But like I said, I don't know, folks, if I'll do it or not. We'll see when the time comes. But as of right now, let me continue this filming. Anyway, we have Princess Leia in her indoor attire. As you can tell, she has her little pistol there, which you can barely see because... But the thing is, folks, her helmet comes off. Oh! But Luke Skywalker's does not. And she also has a coin. Then we move on to have a Man-A-Man. He's in such mint condition, I'm scared to even touch it because his figure is probably about, I don't know, maybe close to $300 in this condition. I would say if I put it on eBay, it'd be a huge bidding war and maybe even be able to get more than that because I have his original battle staff. Most of these are always cracked right here through the middle or broken. And I also have his coin, and everything is in mint condition. I know because I took him off the card like that. The card was really beat up, and I paid, believe it or not, folks, 50 cents for that figure back in the day when I worked at Toys R Us. Next we have, ladies and gentlemen, they threw in some Ewoks. Now, you would think last 17, why in the hell would you throw in some Ewoks? Couldn't we do with Tarkin and the Han Solo and maybe something different, something new? But no, they had to throw in some Ewoks. Shouldn't these guys be in the Return of the Jedi collection? No. But anyway, I'll take them for what they are because they're so rare. I have Warrock. He has his little bow and arrow shooter. Let me see what the name of it is. I tend to mark all my stuff. And his crossbow. And he has his original coin. There's also Lumat, also with the crossbow, his original coin. These Ewoks are pretty cool though because all these accessories all come off on them. So they bring a lot to the table. They did bring a lot to the table, which makes them different. And then you have Rumba, who doesn't look as impressive, but his price tag is a little hefty as well. He has his original little staff, and he has his coin. And finally, up there with the yak face, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, you have one of the most expensive, most sought after figures. If you don't believe me, get on eBay and check it out yourself when they do live auctions of this figure. Because this figure, the last one I seen this sold for over $700 loose and wasn't even in its condition and didn't even bring a coin. And that is R2-D2 with pop-up lightsaber. Luke's pop-up lightsaber. There's how it looks, folks. I am so scared to even move this thing because of the fact that I do not want to break it because it's so expensive. You can see how the bottoms of it look. And he has his coin. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you could get Jude on this pop-up lightsaber. There's a lot of reproductions out there. This one is not a reproduction, but you can definitely get Jude on it. I understand that the droids in Ewok R2-D2 is also the same way. The lightsaber may have a different tint on it. I would have to put them side by side to compare them. But, ladies and gentlemen, do your homework before you get into something like this. Make sure you're not getting Jude. Make sure that this is something that you love. Don't just do Star Wars collecting because it's the fad or it's the thing to do. or because you feel that you have to own every Black Series there is, and then when you need the money or have to sell them or whatever, or you want to downgrade and try to sell them, and you're going to see that they are not even worth half of what you're putting into it. On the other hand, if you do your homework right, you could be sitting on a small fortune such as this. But ladies and gentlemen, it takes a while for Star Wars figures to move up in value, and the reason why these have went through the roof is due to the fact that we have Episode 9 coming up, the very last installment of the Star Wars movie, and then yet there will be spin-offs and TV series like The Mandalorian and everything that are coming out. So everybody wants Star Wars. Let me get Star Wars. Let me get Star Wars. But then when it comes to the vintage Star Wars and people see the price of them, they tend to back away a little bit. But I say, you know what? Even if you have a small little collection with your original Star Wars figures, if they're yours and if they love them, then that's a price that is untouchable, because that's a price tag on your heart that is untouchable due to price. Nobody could buy that. Nobody could take that from you. Those are memories of when you were a kid or when you worked at Toys R Us, such as I did. My mother took me to see Star Wars for the very first time in 1977. I was 6 years old. I happened to own every Star Wars figure made between 1978, well, they post 77 on the legs, but really it was 78 and 1985. Every figure made, every variation, I own that. And it took a lot of research. It took a lot of people giving me stuff. It took a lot of just about everything. But it took a lot of time. Like I said, I've been collecting for 40 years. So it's not going to happen overnight, folks. But just keep busy. Keep doing your thing. You know, don't never ever go over and overpay for something, because you never know, next week you may see it half the price, or may see it at a garage sale, or may see it at a flea market, or may see it at a Goodwill, and you're gonna say, wow, I just got a pop-up lightsaber R2-D2 for $1 at a Goodwill center that some grandma threw in because her husband was a collector and she has donated it to the Goodwill. But ladies and gentlemen, let's keep Star Wars vintage collecting alive. Do your homework, back away from the Black Series a little bit, step into the real alley with all the vintage figures and start collecting the original ones. And then be on the lookout. This Sunday, folks, May the 12th, is the release in the United States of the Star Wars vintage retro figures. They're coming on card. There are 6 of them available. I believe it is Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Chewbacca, the Stormtrooper, Han Solo, and let's see, Princess Leia. There you have it, folks. They'll have a big red retro sticker on them, and as soon as I get my set, I will do a live shoot on it. I will also do a live shoot on Tarkin, which I have coming in the mail possibly tomorrow. I will open one as well and post them where he needs to be and do a little small review on it. But it's me, I to the T to the Z M E, and I'm out, folks. Thank you for watching my video, and please like it if you like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. If you want to leave a nasty comment, leave a nasty comment. Any comment is good comment. If you want to leave a good comment, leave a good comment. Good night, everyone.